Hello all, I Rahul Jadhav, Assistant Professor, Department of ENTC, ASSMS IOIT. Welcome you all in this video lecture on destructors in C++. Now what is a destructor? It is used to destroy an object which has been created by a constructor. We know that constructor is a special function which is used to initialize the data members of an object. So in the same way, to destroy that objects, you can use destructor. So it is also a member function whose name is same as class name, but it is preceded by a tilde. So it is similar to a constructor, only in syntax it is preceded by a tilde. So you can see this example. So integer suppose is my class and I am declaring integer as a constructor. So to declare a destructor for the same class, I can use the same syntax, integer as a class name, as a function name, and I can use that tilde operator so that it can act as a destructor. So this is the destructor for class integer. A destructor never takes any argument, nor does it returns any value. So we know that for constructor we can pass the arguments if required, but here in case of destructor, no arguments can be passed and it also does not return any value. So it does not have a return type and it also does not take any argument. It will be invoked implicitly by the compiler upon exit from the program or block or function as the case may be. So we are going to see these cases, how when the destructor will be called, but whenever the object is going out of the scope, that is when it is no longer accessible, the destructor function is automatically invoked and it will destroy the object. It is good practice to declare destructor in a program since it releases memory space for the future use. That means whatever the memory which is allocated for the objects, it can be released and it will be free for the future use. Whenever new is used to allocate memory in a constructor, we should use delete to free that memory. So properties of destructor. So these are few properties. Destructor function is automatically invoked when the objects are destroyed. It cannot be declared static or constant. You cannot have this function as static function. The destructor does not have arguments as we have already stated. It has no return type, not even void. So it should not return any value. An object of a class with destructor cannot become member of an union. So this is also one of the property of a destructor. A destructor should be declared in public section of a class. So this is very important because these functions are invoked automatically, so they should be publicly accessible. The programmer cannot access the address of destructor. So these are few properties of a destructor. So just see one of the example of a program where we can have multiple constructors and how that destructors will be called. So let us see this example. Here I have class integer. In public section, I have declared a constructor 1 which is having no argument, that is similar to a default constructor, and it is initializing that variable m and n as 0. Now how I can declare a destructor for the same class? So by declaring the same function integer, only it is preceded by a tilde. So tilde indicates it is a destructor. Now as we have stated earlier also, that constructors can be multiple. You can overload the constructor. That means you can simultaneously declare and define multiple constructors in same class. So here you can see constructor 2 is taking 2 arguments. Constructor 3 is a copy constructor. So multiple constructors are there and you also have a destructor in a class. So how these constructors and destructors are called? So consider this main function where first I am creating object I1. So in this first statement, it will call constructor 1 and the data members are initialized to 0. In second statement, I am creating object I2 of class integer and here I am passing 2 arguments 20 and 40. So it will call constructor 2 and initialize this m and n variables to 20 and 40. Third, I am creating object i3, and here I am passing the object of same class, that is i2, as an argument. So here whatever will be the values of m and n for i2 will get copied into the values of m and n of i3. So it is the example of copy constructor. So first constructor 1 is called, then constructor 2 is called, and then constructor 3 will be called. Now whenever it reaches to the end of program, or when that destructors are called, so there are multiple options. A destructor function is called automatically when object goes out of scope. So which are these cases? First case can be the function ends. Suppose the constructor is called or the object is created inside a function. So when that function ends, it will call the destructor. Second, if the program ends. Third, if block containing local variable ends. Suppose a constructor or object is created inside a block. So whenever that block ends, the destructor for that object will be called. Or when delete operator is called. So all these are 4 possible cases when a destructor can be called. In this example, the main function which we have written, when it reaches to the end of the function, that is the closing bracket of my main, it will call the destructors. Now in which order these destructors are called? They are called in the reverse order in which the constructors are called. Here constructor for i1 is called first, then constructor of i2 was called, then constructor of i3 was called. So whenever destructors are called or invoked, first it will destroy i3, then i2, and then i1. Thank you.